Magandang gabi, ako si Boss Babe Bea.
And in his brain rot era, ako naman si Drexon at nagbabalik muli ang Gabi ng Bayot.
Woo! Ang init, no? Parang sarap na lang humilata buong gabi.
Totoo, and I'm sure our audience can relate, pero at least they get to spend it with us talking about yet again another important topic. Kaya productive pa rin kahit pa maaari.
Thank you, bestie, and with the help of our esteemed guests, talaga namang worth it ang magiging Emma natin tonight.
No truer words have been spoken, kaya tara, larga na tayo.
Ayan, so our topic for tonight will have something to do with population dynamics. So ano nga ba yun?
Birds, I think let's call for help and bring our guests na.
Welcome po sa ating guests. Hi, Miss Christine and Miss Marie. Welcome.
Magandang gabi.
Siguro let's start by defining first what is population dynamics kasi medyo buzzword siya, so baka ma-lost kami sa conversation.
Ayun, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. So basically, population dynamics is a field in population ecology which produces or observes the factors influencing the expansion, decline, or maintenance of a population.
Tama ka dyan, partner. To continue, kinoconsider nito yung mga factors like natality or births, mortality or deaths, immigration at emigration patterns of a locality within a population. So, in particular, this focuses on an area's demography.
Ngayon, before we go into the application of these concepts, i-define na muna namin ang mga jargon na maaaring hindi kayo familiar or baka may background na kayo about this. Ngayon, pag-usapan muna natin ang exponential growth. Ito ay kind of population growth that manifests continuous increase in an unlimited environment. Meaning, pinapakita rito na kahit na sobrang tumataas na ang population, hindi pa rin nawawalan ng resources. Ever. Usually, pa-J yung shape ng curve nito sa graph.
Yan, yung exponential growth dito is yung kulay red, as you can see from here, kulay J siya. Now, on the other hand, we have the logistic growth. Now, in contrast, ang logistic growth model naman ay may carrying capacity, which pertains to the highest rate a population can reach, possibly due to the lack of resources from the environment. Dito makikita natin sa graph na may point na magiging stagnant yung growth, saka ito magde-decline. Kaya usually pa-S yung curve nito, as you can see from this blue curve line.
Ngayon, pag-usapan naman natin yung survivorship curves. Tatlo yung types nito. Una, yung type 1 or yung K-strat. Ito ay may low infant mortality rate, few offspring, prolonged parental care, tsaka high survivorship throughout life. Ang examples nito ay humans tsaka mammals, tulad ng monkeys and whales. Ngayon, tignan naman natin ang type 2 o yung linear. Ito yung kung saan yung organisms die at an equal rate regardless of age. Ngayon, yung type 3 naman, or yung R-strat, it produces a large number of offspring. High infant mortality rate, tsaka no parental care. Ang example nito ay small fishes tsaka oysters. Ang demographic factors naman na nakaka-affect sa survivorship curve ay birth, death, immigration, emigration. Tsaka yung other properties tulad ng age structure, reproductive patterns, and gender gaps.
Now, let's move on naman sa mga limiting factors within a population. So, we have two. Ang una is the density-dependent factors. Ngayon, from the term density-dependent, mahihinuhan natin na may role dito ang excessiveness or deficiency ng particular na organism or perhaps disease. Examples nito yung mga scarcity-induced competitions among organisms, ang predation, and ang pagkakasaturate ng parasitism and disease sa isang locality. On the other hand, ang density-independent factors naman ay complete contrast ng density-dependent factors dahil ito yung mga bagay o phenomena na hindi natin nakokontrol o hindi nakabase sa mga frequency or density ng kahit anumang factor tulad ng natural disasters, climate change, at under din dito yung mga abiotic factor tulad ng temperature, light intensity, at iba pa.
Ayan. So with that cleared, baka helpful na i-situate natin tong mga concepts na to get a fuller picture of how things work sa isang population.
Tama. Perfect kasi we prepared some data and interpretations sa mga kaganapan sa population dynamics ng Quezon City.
Galing, handa pala sila. So which aspect do we focus on ba muna?
Ayan, para naman magamit natin yung mga concept na kakabanggit namin, let's concentrate on the data we have on the population growth of QC. So, this was a mind map that we were able to produce from studying the data. So, let's first focus on the population growth. So, by looking at this graph pa lang, makikita natin from this dark blue line na parang nagde-decrease ata ang population growth ng QC. So, from this, Quezon City seems to exhibit a logistic growth with yearly annual growth rate steadily decreasing throughout the census years from 1939 to 2015. The annual growth rate recorded in the last census, which is 2015, is the lowest so far at 1.17 compared to the highest recorded, which is 12.20 noong 1948 pa. So this may indicate that the city is reaching its carrying capacity or nawawalan na sila ng resources. So medyo parang masasabi natin na parang kulang na yung resources sa kanila to sustain the growing population and yung population nila will eventually plateau. So medyo kinakabahan lang ako sa mga societal issues sa QC, no? Kasi baka mas lumala yung poverty and mas rumami yung cases ng malnutrition.
Tama yung mga sinabi ni Miss Marie. Ayun nga, alarming yung population growth ng Quezon City. Ngayon naman, pag-usapan natin yung limiting factors na nakaka-affect sa population growth nito. Unahin na natin yung density-dependent factors. Example nito ay yung COVID-19. Since yung virus easily transmitted siya sa densely populated areas. Yung second example naman ay pneumonia. Since ito yung number one leading cause of death in Quezon City from 2015 to 2018. Tapos yung third naman ay yung increased generation of solid waste. Since ito yung nagbibigay ng increase sa mga all types of diseases. Ngayon, pag-usapan naman natin yung density-independent factors. Yung examples ito ay yung natural disasters tulad ng typhoons, floods, tsaka earthquakes. Tsaka yung second naman ay yung rising global temperatures o yung global warming. Tapos yung third example naman ay yung pollution, since ito ay nakaka-apekto sa food production negatively.
Now, dumako naman tayo sa mga demographic factors that are influencing the population growth in QC. So, from looking at this graph, makikita natin na parang may shrinkage ata. So, from this, in the context of Quezon City, from studying their data, age distribution may potentially be alarming. Due to the orientation of the diagram, it shows that the urban area has a relatively young structure. Also, with its base being narrower than the upper levels, it is expected that low birth rates will ensue, signaling a possible shrinkage problems. Now, on the other hand, due to gender differences in mortality and life expectancy, females account for more than half of the total population despite the sex ratio at birth and childhood favoring males. So this gender gap is further influenced by social, cultural, and environmental factors. So generally, men's risky behavioral tendencies or vices tulad ng cigarette smoking, excessive drinking among others may contribute to having higher mortality rates. Also, yung environmental issues relating to unsafe water, insufficient nutrition, and poor sanitation, among others, can put women at risk of serious illnesses that may lead to higher childbirth death rates. And ma-mention din natin dito yung mga work-related differences where male-dominated industries further deteriorate the health of men more than that of women who are typically less likely to be a part of the labor workforce.
Ngayon, tingnan naman natin yung mortality curve ng Quezon City. Yung graph ay may type 1 survivorship curve. As shown, the infant mortality rate is low. Survivorship is high at an early age, tapos may low death rates during early and middle life. And this is generally associated with prolonged parental care among humans.
So we successfully tackled na yung population dynamics ng QC, and I'm sure have questions, so maybe we can try entertaining some of them.
Yan, si Excel nag-raise ng hand. Please ask away.
And so I think kasi it's also important that we address the relevance of discussing such a topic in general. Bakit nga ba siya kailangan pag-usapan at pag-aralan?
Ayan, good question from Excel. Kailangan natin ito pag-aralan, lalo na yung mga demographers and ecologists among other professions para makonserve yung diverse plants and animals and to maintain or prevent the spread of harmful pests and other pathogens. And of course, kailangan din ito in overseeing the balance in an ecosystem.
Next, we have Portia. What's your question?
Hello po, magandang gabi. To add to the question earlier by Excel, ano yung mga concrete applications nito na helpful sa atin?
Yan. So bilang dagdag sa mga nabanggit kanina, ito ng process of exploring the principles of populations of living organism ay nakakatulong para sa atin to make informed decisions relating to the conservation and the proper management of our resources, especially on the part of our scientific experts that produce evidence-based informations which our policymakers can then use to improve legislation. So hopefully that answers your question.
Tama, ano? What a short but fruitful Q&A portion. So, ayun naman siya, mga bestianas.
Tumpak, at dito nagtatapos ang isa na namang makabuluhang episode. Ako muli si Rex.
At ako, muli si Bea, ang inyong favorite biot. At ito ang Gabi ng Biot. Thank you for watching.